Hello, it's the 4th of December here, and this is Nick's forecast. Talk about something that really irks me pretty bad about the real estate industry, real estate agents, and their professionalism and their training. Since I'm in the real estate industry for a long time, over 25 years, started when I was 25. So I've got lots of experience. Mortgage industry, it's same. Um, a lot of real estate agents today are not well trained. They're poorly trained. And basically, what it is that you go, you get your real estate license and you go to a brokerage, and basically, the broker of the office, who's usually the owner or a franchise owner, or maybe appointed by the owner as a designated broker, gives you a desk and a phone and says, here, go to work, or you do it out of your house. They don't train you on anything. And it's really, really bad. You have no marketing skills. You have no social skills. You have no phone, which is even worse. You have no idea about social media marketing, but in basic marketing and how to train and how to do it. There's a lot of stuff to be an agent. Also, you don't know anything about finance, paperwork. I used to train agents, loan officers too. When I had a loan office with some people, we used to train them, and I train them and train them and train them. And I had kids 19 making $250,000 a year. So I've been around the block. I was a millionaire before I was 30, and I got it and lost it, got it and lost it, got it and lost it. So I've been around, so I know what's up. And I've been way beyond the multi-million-dollar a year broker, that $100 million plus, it puts you at $1 million plus a year. So I kind of know what's up. When I sold a loan company, we got rid of that. We went to some other loan companies, but I didn't do all my loan company. Me and my cousin, we used to go through other companies too, even though we had a loan office and wanted to do stuff, because the brokers they don't protect their people. This is a bad problem, is that the brokers don't protect them, but the brokers don't train them. And this is what I'm going to get into today, is about training. There are people that come from other industries that could come in. They've been outside sales, inside sales, especially outside sales from other industries that already have a lot of the skill sets, but they're still not trained in being or a realtor, according to the National Association of Realtors, which a lot of the big brokerage houses are. I'd say the top, 20, 30 brokerage houses in the U.S. that are big regionals or nationals that'll have it. Reality owns 3. They own the Coldwell Banker and the Century 21, and they had an EA franchise. I heard they picked up another one, but I don't know if they did. So you have these big franchise, Remax, the Keller Williams. You've got a bunch of other ones, really ones out there, the white shirts, and they're all good. A lot of times, the only reason the owner brokers are buying them, or the designated brokers, are buying them just because they want the name. But real estate training, people don't have it. They don't know how to approach people. They don't know how to prospect. They don't know how to do a lot of stuff. I see a lot of stuff online, go online, all the social media stuff, great. But there's still a lot of stuff they don't know how to do, and they don't get leads. This is another problem, is that there's no leads because they don't teach the agents how to prospect. When I started in 95, I was working a part-time job, or a couple of them, and I was doing real estate at night, essentially, and I was cold calling. Now he's a multimillionaire. He doesn't have to work. He still knock out 40 deals a year. Easy. He'll still just knock out deals. He's in the 70s now. He doesn't need to do it. So, but he's the first one that taught me how to prospect. When he came over the company I was at, which is now defunct a long time ago because the owner was a complete idiot. Basically, he kind of taught me what I needed to do as far as being on the phone and how to do phone processing. Sweat Hogs, that was the first program I went through. That's been defunct. He's in Michigan. He's in his 80s now. So he has a few people working for him. Look at his site. But he was before 2001 when they had the change in the real estate, I should say the telemarketing law, pardon me, when they had to change. you could prospect, and there were a lot of ways and certain ways to prospect. And so like Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry's son, Mike Ferry had one of the best programs like Sweat Hogs. And I went to that. I was in a coaching program for 2 years, and you learn how to prospect and do it right. You learn how to do a lot of stuff being a real estate agent, how to manage time, how to do this, how to do that, how to do this, a lot of things. So basically, I went to Tom Ferry and his brother. And I had a Canadian seminar I used to run for 3 days. I went to it in 95. It was pretty cool because I hadn't been exposed to anything like that. Then I went to Sweat Hogs program after that. And also, I joined by referral only Joe Stump to it. So you get more referral business and building it out, kind of buying business, but there's ways you can do it. And we're trying to get up to that 50% mark in referrals, which isn't always realistic, but it's something. Real estate. And I was in that coaching program for a year. And Joe, he's 64 now. He lives in Northern California. He's in San Diego. He's still got his program. I still on his list. But real estate training in general for agents. One, going into an office, a lot of people work out of their homes. They don't prospect. Okay. They don't send mail out. I know mail's expensive, but there's ways around that. Another one, Haas Pratt. He's another guy out of Texas. He's in his 30s. He's pretty scored away. Also, too, the Kinder Reese program. Haas Pratt's got some pretty good. It was Kinder Reese. They were number 4 in Coal Banker for a long time. And so they got their program. I know people that are on it and done it. They just have a different way of doing it. Craig Proctor was out of Toronto, and he had his own way of doing it, but I didn't like the program that much. Kinder Reese, I've seen it. I've kind of gone through it, but it's not for me. Anyways, but first let's talk about prospecting. Getting into some other stuff. Real estate agents are basically doing expires. Now, there's a couple lawsuits, civil suits in California against a couple agents in Southern California for expired listings, going after those and FSBOs, even though it's chartered out in the California Multiple Listing Association, and almost all multiple listing associations allow you to do it. But there's still a lawsuit on it. I've read kind of, but I haven't really seen too many updates on it lately. It was filed a couple years ago. And I never really knew what happened to the outcome. I've kind of searched for it, but haven't really seen anything. But those are things you can prospect. Prospecting business, especially in commercial people I know that do it. Even if you're residential, you should be doing commercial too. You need to do both. You specialize in this, and that, but you need to be able to have multiple specialties because you need to keep all basically the plate spinning. So you need to be able to do residential and commercial. This is another problem with brokerages I'll get into. It really irritates me because the agents don't know anything about anything. Prospecting. So, being able to prospect business owners for commercial, you might be able to get more deals as far as a sale there, leasing, a listing, maybe be able to buy another property. There's a lot of angles you can work it. But being able to prospect is a big deal. Being able to be on the phone and being able to talk is a big deal. Having phone prospecting skills is important, or talking skills on the phone. Now, and they know what the hell they're doing because they've done a lot of outside sales, so they're on the phone a lot. They have the skills to meet people because they do it all the time. And there's multiple industries out on it. And there's a lot of people coming to the real estate industry from all kinds of places. But you still, so they don't do that. It falls more of a by referral only. But the Mike Ferry, he's still probably in his late 70s, 75, 76. He's got a good program. His son, Tom Ferry, is really good. He still has a prospecting school in the Orange County area. I think he's in Irvine. He still has it. And so that's good stuff. And you can actually get the stuff online and go through it. I tell everybody that's a class you need to go to. MikeFerry.com has also got a good one. You need to be able to prospect. So there's a lot of areas you can go to HaasPratt.com. Haas Pratt is a really good prospector. I've talked to him before in the past. I bought his program a long time back. I just wanted to check it out, and it's pretty good. It's got some good stuff. And a lot of these top people they have their own stuff original and they'll copy from each other and change the names, but it doesn't matter. Prospecting is prospecting. You need to have good phone skills. It's a major issue. Also, too, marketing. Okay, well, you have all the social media stuff. You have your Facebook, your Twitter feeds, your WeChat, the TikTok. You're doing other stuff too, and sending out mail is a good one. I send out 150,000 mailers a month. My cousin, we had a 2.5 to 3% return. Sometimes even higher. And excuse me. And it just depends on what we were doing. But being able to send out mail, being able to farm is a good thing. Being able to send out newsletters is a good thing. Whether you send it out by mail once a quarter, also doing it with your internet. If you go to morewhiskers.com, you should check that out. DeanJackson.com. He's got a full program for an area, and it might be 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 homes, and you just go ahead and you take it and keep mailing postcards, and then you go ahead and you knock it out and you build your database at the same time of prospects. That's one thing as far as that goes. Door hangers are another awesome one. The area I live in Missouri, summer, and it was like, it wasn't a great door hanger, but it was at least marketing and got people to look. And so that was a good thing. It was a Keller Williams agent, which is up the road about 15, 20 miles from here, because the agent offices are kind of spread out. In my time, man, there's only 2 offices, and one's an EXP office, the other is just a franchise. So that was a good thing to see. At least somebody's doing it. Foreclosure bailouts. Homes are another good one. In the city areas right now that are hot, you're not going to see as many. But in areas further out where the economy is not so good, that's a good way to do it. That's another angle you need to hit. Another good one, I used to know a broker that used to go for people that passed away in the obituary columns. They used to track the stuff down and send out mail. He might knock out 3 to 5 lists. 2, hitting businesses in certain areas. If you're doing commercial, you might hit businesses, or you might hit it for businesses that are looking for a house, or it can be for things. Also, too, for mailing stuff out, you might go for people that have older houses that haven't refinanced, or they own their houses outright, or they have low mortgages and they've owned them for 15, 20 years. You might otherwise, another way you can work is you take in a certain area, you get homes over a certain basically time period that people have owned their homes for a long while. So these are ways that you can hit. There's a lot of different other angles too, but I'm just going to some real basic ones where you can work the mail. Thing is, they don't tell you how to do this in your companies. They don't talk about any of this. The social media is great if you're going to go ahead and put out videos, or you're going to put out newsletters, or you're going to put out information on certain areas to them. By referral only, Joe Stump. He's got some people in Florida. His guy in San Diego, one of his managers, has been with him for a long time. They came out with some video stuff over the last, it was a few months ago. I watched the whole thing. He has this lady in Florida that works for him, been working for him for a couple of years, and they had some good on it. And it went through social media and some different angles how you're trying to help people out. But this goes into another thing too, is your social skills. When you're talking to people and you're meeting them at the office, a lot of agents don't listen. They're rude. They don't have any concept of what's going on because they don't know the areas. But the thing is, you got to keep prospecting. You got to have more tops going on. That's why I tell agents, you need to do residential and commercial. So you're doing houses. You might be doing a certain area houses. You might be picking up doing land stuff. There's one guy I live around here, area I have in mid-Missouri, where he does stuff, but land, that's what was kind of his MO. So he did land all over the Puget Sound region, King, Pierce, Snohomish County, which is basically Seattle, Tacoma, Everett area. And he used to do lots of land listings, tons of them. And basically, a lot of those land listings now have all been chopped up and builders have built on it. So, that was kind of his deal. So there's people that will do specialties and they market on that specialty, but then they also be able to hit other stuff because he did commercial and residential and a bunch of other stuff. I've been through the highlight film, so the mistakes, I know what they are. and I've seen them, and, and I've done them. So I've learned by experience because no one to teach me anything. Down here in the description, I put a lot of these coaching places for you to go. If you're going to be a new real agent and you're going to get into it and you're going to do the business, go to some of these and start learning. And start learning how to. Jackson's got a really good program. It centers on particular areas as far as the website goes. Basically, specific type of mail, which you can track the mail with these certain numbers. Getting the 800 line. I mean, we're talking real basic stuff where you can really go ahead and you can move business out. You're looking at prospecting is so the mail, doing the internet stuff, but being able to meet people and talk to them one-to-one, and also too being trained how to ask for referrals. But this goes back to professionalism and being able to do it. And these brokers don't teach you in classes how to, what things are you using, what to ask. Same thing with Joe Stump and by referral only has his Words Dojo, which is really good. He's a martial art expert anyways. I've talked about it before in the past because I did martial arts for a long, long time. But he used to talk about that, the Words Dojo. And it's an important thing because it's being able to talk to people. Now, Joe Stump's got a bachelor's and a master's degree and has a master's in psychology. So he understands it really well. Basically, your training part, when you're talking to people on the phone, you're talking to them in person, you're talking to them when you're doing mail, because you're talking to people when you're sending out mail, when you're doing your videos. How are you talking to people? Are you listening? Are you asking the right questions? What kind of responses are you getting? Are you getting the responses you want to lead them to where you now are you dealing with? The Stephen Covey personality test. So you have to ask all these questions, and this is in your training, and you're breaking it down into a lot of factors when you're going ahead and being a real estate agent, because you have a confluence of stuff. Time management, that's another issue with a lot of agents. And what happens is it's a consistency thing. And as I bring all these different avenues together, it's consistent. It's like the mail. Well, you have your list, that email list, which you're trying to get to 500. That's your kind of one of your goals. Your first goal would be to get to 500 first. So you can send out a newsletter once a quarter or once a month. And then, are you sending a newsletter out once a quarter to the area that you're working? Are you farming? I remember they used to talk about farms and how to do it properly. Also, too, do you have a phone prospecting farm? Sometimes I get calls from agents in Seattle, and me because I'll talk to them, but I'll go through the phone after they do their pitch, and I'll start correcting them on all this different stuff. What's going to be interesting when you're talking to a referral that you just had? It's a buyer, or maybe it's a listing referral. So these are the questions. When you go into a listing appointment, how do you act? What are you going to do? What kind of information are you going to get them? What I hate when I watch $1 Million Listing in New York, $1 Million Listing in LA. There's a couple other real estate shows that I've seen. There's one in LA, I think, or Orange County. But they go into a listing. They don't have anything in their hand. They're just talking to them. They almost know the outcome because it's all pre-done before they get anywhere. So they know the pre-outcome. They don't give them anything. They don't give them any kind of CMA, cost market analysis, which most agents don't know how to do anyway, so they don't know how to price a house. That's another training issue, is a lot of people overprice the house and they don't know how to do it right. And they don't know what things to put in the CMA. Now, I mean, if you get pro CMA, there's a bunch of different CMA programs out there that have a lot of information, the actives, the solds, basically the pendings, the expireds, which there's not too many expireds anymore. There will be here soon. And so you have these different angles. And when you're putting it together, a lot of people don't know how to do it right. And a lot of people, they still don't know the inventory. Another good way to help you doing the CMA inventory wise, excuse me, is on Sundays, Saturdays, go to an open houses. Now, in the rural areas, you don't see this as much. You don't see as many open houses. That's pretty common, but you don't see many in the city areas. Yeah, you're going to see a program for doing open houses. By Referral Only has one too. Mike Ferry, I think, still has it on. They've got a whole program for new open house and how to do it correctly. This is part of the training cycle. So now you're looking at, you have basically prospecting, how to act, listing appointments, how to do an open house, how to do mail, how are you going to do your social media, how are you going to ask for referrals, how are you going to set up a referral program, what's your database system going to look like? Okay, how are you going to act in the office? How are you going to interact with other agents? They don't tell you anything about that. I mean, a lot of people with sales skills from other industries, they know how to act. I used to know this one gal worked at a Windermere company in Seattle. 20 easy. Half her businesses were still in the business, and she does with her husband now too. Anyways, but she came from a sales background, and she was in a Fortune 5,000 company, and she'd been with that company 20 years and got out. And her husband, same way. But the thing is, she knew how to act. She knew what to do. She knew the questions to ask. She knew about time management. She knew all this stuff. And she, first year out, she did 70 deals. First year. Okay. So, I didn't have any of that stuff when I started because I came out of the military. I worked at a steel company, and I was doing it before I dropped the steel company. And I said, okay, I'm going real estate full time. But the office I was in, I had a broker. He got fired the first month. And they're basically, here's a desk, here's a phone, good luck. That was it. They didn't know how to train. The company didn't know how to train. The company went from basically as an independent to a franchise. They brought in these trainers from a franchise, and I won't name the franchise. They brought them in from a franchise. These trainers were in the Seattle area that were high-profile agents. They did residential, commercial, and they did a lot of deals, lots of deals. But they still really didn't know how to train. And, until I went to the Buy Referral Only with Joe Stump, basically the Mike Ferry program, which I was in the coaching club 2 years. Buy Referral Only, I was in coaching club for a year. The Sweat Hub program, I went to a bunch of .com down there. I forgot to put / real estate. He's got a really good training program for real estate agents and mortgage brokers. You need to look at that program because he teaches you how to use and how to market. Tom Ferry does it. Mike Ferry does it. Buy Referral Only does it. Dean Jackson's got his own program. ilovemarketing.com. Everybody should be signing up for that all the time. Joe Polish, he has his program for carpet cleaners, but he's got a lot of cool stuff. JoePolish.com. That's another one I look at because him and Dean Jackson are some of the best in direct response in the entire planet, direct response marketing, which I see this everywhere. Is a lot of agents will put up these billboards. It's a self-efficacy thing to make themselves feel good. There's no direct response marketing on anything. I've only seen 3 agents in the area I'm in. I covers a pretty big area that have done direct response. 2 follow the Kinder Reese program, and the other one is a survey. And she follows different aspects of different programs, but that's it. Nobody knows anything about direct response. They said, here, I've been buying and selling what? I've been in real estate for how long? I've seen this all over the U.S. Seattle, Portland, Bay Area, I've seen it. L.A., San Diego, I've seen this. What are you doing? How are you helping out? See, when you go in, you're talking to someone that wants to list or someone that wants to buy. They're talking to you as a human, and all this other stuff is just noise. And whatever you did to track to get these people in, whether it's a FSBO, it's an expired listing, a buyer you got off mail, a listing you got off mail, somebody got off social media, you got a referral from a business partner or a friend. How are you going to talk to these people? This goes back to a training issue. That's a major problem in the real estate industry for real estate agents, mortgage brokers too. But real estate agents got a real problem because they don't know how to ask the right questions when they're talking to people, and they don't know how to answer the right questions on the phone, especially when they meet people. It's bad. I've seen some really, really bad stuff. And basically, a lot of these real estate agents will watch $1 million listing or what some of these other real estate shows with these agents, and basically they're looking at like they're in control of everything the whole time. Remember, you work for that seller, you work for that buyer. You're supposed to be helping them. And what happens is they alleviate some control because you're the professional, but you're not helping them. And I had to learn this all the stuff the hard way because I didn't have anybody to show me anything. That's why I went to I went to Tony Robbins. I've been to his mastery sales program too. And I've went to tons of sales programs I've been to, tons of them. And the only way I really learned was talking to some of these other agents that were high profile, like Kathy Courtney used to be in the buy referral only program when I started in '95. She lives in Palm Beach, Florida. She has a Keller Williams office. She owns it with a couple people, I think. She's got her own coaching program too. I think she still has it, but she does 200 deals a year easily. Hers is like being profile easy because she lives in Palm Beach. It's like living in Beverly Hills or Miami and in the Gold Coast area, Coral Gables. And there's some pretty high profile agents down there. That work at Coldwell Banker. There's another guy who works at Keller Williams. Another guy who works at Remax. And they have pretty high profile stuff. But the thing is, these are kind of few and far between because most of the agents aren't like that. You got 1.5 million agents in the U.S., maybe more. And I tell you, going to especially real estate agents are trying to learn, you need to go to these sites and explore it. Oh, another one I didn't add was Frank Kern. Frank Kern's a digital master. When you're doing different types of Facebook ads, or you might be doing some Snapchat, or maybe doing something on Google, whatever. The ROI, he's really good at that. He's been in a lot of sales. Frank Kern is one of the top people for internet marketing on the planet. He's got some really cool stuff, but there's a lot of stuff out there for free that you can look at, especially on Google, on YouTube. There's a ton of free stuff on marketing that you can look at, like Seth Good and the Purple Cow. You should read that, or Claude Hopkins. You should read that. There's a ton of stuff out there. I'm forgetting. There's one other guy. He's one of the best direct response marketing. It'll come back to me one of these times, or I'll bring it up another time. But as an agent, you have to look at a lot of these different angles. When you come in, a lot of these brokers don't teach any of this stuff, and their sales programs are poor. You might go in once every couple months. If you might have your maybe weekly meeting, maybe a monthly meeting, and that's it. A lot of times they don't even do that, even though you have Zoom, which is a good source, or you might even Skype or whatever one-on-ones, but they still don't teach you anything. You go in the office now, a lot of them go back to the office, they still don't teach anything. They'll go through stuff that the multiple has, but multiples don't teach you anything except how to use the multiple listing. A lot of agents don't even know how to use that correctly. Paperwork, that's another problem. They don't go through the contracts and actually show you all the forms, which is a new agent because to me, you're a cherry agent for the first 3 years until you get off the ground. And I don't care how many deals you've done, you're still a cherry until you get at least after your 3rd year and your 4th year, because you've actually done it. Yeah, there's some agents that had some skill sets from other places, and so they're more professional. They know what to do, but they still haven't done a lot of deals. They probably stuck to residential. They haven't done commercial. They don't know anything about leasing. They don't know anything about how to set up buying apartment buildings, commercial buildings, and how to put deals together. They don't know anything about finance. And this goes back to paperwork, because being able to do the paperwork properly and being able to understand it is important, because it's contract law. They don't show you anything. So what happens, there's always a risk. And I know because I've been through civil lawsuits before. And high-profile agents are going to go through civil lawsuits. Just the way it goes. When you do a lot of deals, you're going to get hit. If you say you don't and you haven't got through some kind of stuff, then you're full of crap. Because every region, I know them in other states, whether they're doing mortgages or real estate, are going to get, but they're full of it because they've been through some legal stuff before. It's just how it goes. And I'll be the first to admit it. I've been through it. So, but a lot of it gets down to is you're doing a lot of deals. But I had to learn myself. I didn't have it. I did the trainers, but I had no one in the office to tell me how to do anything, because the brokers don't teach you anything. Whether it's a designated broker or the broker owner, they know what to do, but you don't. You don't get trained, especially the new agents, the cherry agents. I don't know a damn thing. There's even agents out there that have been an agent for a while. They don't know how to do anything. They don't have good phone skills, people skills. They don't know a damn thing about marketing, and it really ticks me off. When I search where I'm at, and I've seen them in other parts of the country, it's a joke. There's a guy And Seattle has put up a billboard in a certain part of the city every year, and that's great. It's basically it's just an image piece. He's been in real estate a long time. I've done deals with him anymore, but he ticked me off a while back, and I would never deal because he ticked me off. And he's a broker owner of a company, which I won't mention. But basically, it's all image. He has bad bad phone skills and bad social skills, especially social skills. And a lot of agents in the area don't want to work with them. They don't like them. So these are things that are going to come up. And basically that gets back to a training issue that the brokers don't talk to you about how to deal with other agents, how to deal with people. And so you don't want ticked off sellers or buyers are going to call your office, file a complaint with the state, or file a complaint with the multiple. And this has happened. I mean, I know an agent somewhere in the Northeast or upper Southeast, depending on where you look at it. He had his own deal in the Seattle area, and remember he got nailed a couple times because he liked to prospect a lot. I know because I trained him. And then he ended up doing 200 deals a year. He followed the Kinder system, which was okay, but I still showed him how to do a lot of stuff in the beginning because he knew what the hell he was doing. There are no secrets in this industry. There are none. There are no special secrets to being a real estate agent or a mortgage broker. But as a real estate agent, you know, you got a responsibility to make sure your clients score away. But another problem is that it's exceeding your mandate as far as being an agent, going beyond making decisions for the buyer and seller when you have no authorization to do it. That's why I hate about $1 million listing LA, $1 million listing New York, $1 million listing Miami had the same issues. Some of these other real estate shows I've watched because people see this, and you're going beyond your mandate, making decisions, and you know you have them work everything's over the fee legal, and a lot of times on the paperwork, if brokers want to show you this, if there's a change, usually you can do an basically an addendums, being able to do stuff as long as you're not practicing law. A lot of these real estate companies don't have any attorney to go to because basically the broker owners don't care, and rights of broker owners only worry about basics. It's like learning jujitsu. Jujitsu takes 5 to 6 years to become a black belt in it. I know because I got a black belt in judo, and it's going to take you time to learn how to be a professional and understand what's going on. And so the reason I'm doing these videos is to help a lot of the agents, and just it could be any brokers. The training programs are terrible. All the big franchises, their training programs, they're bad. The agents don't know anything. Even the training programs I've looked at and some of the stuff that I've seen online are some 5 hours. You may do a day of training. It's not going to help you. There's so many avenues in real estate that there's so many issues. It's going to be tough for you to learn it all. So you have to break it down. But the problem is that even going through different areas, which some people get, they still don't know what they're doing. You know, and especially a lot of the independents. I mean, I know this one company I worked for a little while back in the day. She still has offices in Seattle and Tacoma, and I taught the broker owner a bunch of stuff because she didn't know what she was doing in a lot of areas, and she had a pretty interesting program, but it's just she didn't teach anything because she only took experienced agents, which you know I understand why. Another thing too, if you're going to be an agent, go to 100% shop. You know, pay your monthly, go to 100% shop, or get a 90-10. Now, EXP's got an 80-20 program up to a certain amount. I don't like any of these programs. Or there's another company, Better Homes and Garden, has got one like 90-10, 80-20. You pay a certain amount. I generally don't like that. I always went to 100% shops. And I do that. When I started out, I was at an independent, went franchise. And then after I left, because I got fired from it because the broker I had was a complete idiot and basically gave me some bad advice, and I ended up getting screwed. And I'll never forget that because I got robbed out of $32,000 worth of commissions. And I had a bunch of deals in my last month that I was there. I had 10 deals on the board that I closed, and I didn't get any money out of it. They took it all from me. So I've been around the block, and I know what brokers, how screwed up they are. And that's one thing you got to look at and go into an office. You have to go in an office basically you need to find a broker that'll show you something, or at least be straight with you about it and let you know, because sometimes these brokers, they're not going to do anything for you. You're going to have to learn it on your own. But if you're going to go to 100% shop. And don't go to a franchise either. Stay away from franchises. They're bad news because they don't help you at all, even though they say they have training in the internet. And we have this great internet site and blah, 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 blah. So what? It doesn't mean anything. It's not going to help you do anything. Another bad problem with brokerages, this goes back to the training issue, is that they don't show you anything. But the brokers that own these offices, they get a lot of leads that come in, but they don't dole the leads out. If they do dole the leads out, they only dole them to a couple of agents that they like, because they kiss ass more than anybody else or whatever. And that's another problem, is they don't dole the stuff out. So what I tell agents is, whether you're a real estate agent or mortgage broker, you have to have a lot of basically spinning plates. You need to learn how to prospect. I'm going to do a story. There's one lady in the Seattle area. She's not doing real estate anymore. She owned a real estate company for a long time. She worked for some of the big brokerage houses, and I mean brokerage houses, in the Seattle area, the Windermere's, the John L. Scott's regionals, basically the Remaxes, Coldmaker, Century 21s. Keller Williams wasn't around, but they came along. ERA, anyways, Iron Gate Realty, big in the Midwest because they're out of Ohio. But I'm just giving you in Seattle area, worked for Big Rush for a while, started her own company. Now, what she used to do is every time she went to a store and she was in line, she used to start conversations intentionally. This is some Joe Stump stuff. This is buyer for only. He had a video on this, I think, 6 months ago. It must be cool. Anyways, basically talking to people in line, how to create a conversation. And she used to hand out cards to everybody there. And she might pick up, 4 extra deals a month. Let's just say 2 to 4 extra deals a month. Just talking to people at the grocery store, pharmacy, the drugstore, whatever, going into Walgreens, CVS, whatever, a clothing store, a restaurant, fast food, whatever she was doing. But that was another good way to pick up leads, being able to talk to people, tell them what you do. Stump talks about this all the time. Dean Jackson's mentioned it too. These are just good ways of prospecting. Most of these brokers in these offices aren't going to teach you anything. This is a major problem. Is a disconnect is so bad. And a lot of these brokers, I don't care if it's franchise or independent, because they're warning executive assistants, paid, whatever they have, their marketing stuff that they're doing, but it does not help you as a real estate agent or mortgage broker. And why I'm getting long-winded about this, because it's a big deal. Agents are not trained at all. The training is terrible, if they even get any training. And the training, I know Tom Ferry, I get his stuff. He's got some stuff coming up. Mike Ferry, Buyer Referral does everything online like most of the other places now. Joe Stump used to do the same. He stopped doing it. I think it was in 2010. He doesn't need to do it anymore. But his main is all kinds of cool stuff. And he used to go through it, and he had a different way of doing it. It was great. Tom Ferry's got a 3-day event. I know he's got some places going to the U.S. Mike Ferry, I don't know. He has he has a superstar retreat. I've been to that before. It was pretty cool. I went to it in, I think it was in San Diego. It was a long time ago. But I know what it's like to be up there as a high-end agent or basically a mortgage broker, because I've done both. But the thing is that I was a little bit different as an agent, because my target market, I wanted the middle target market right in the middle. So basically, I wasn't going, the high-end homes and all that stuff came a lot later on. When I first started in 95, the average sale price was like $132,000. But as time and prospecting the high-end areas, just to see if I could get lists, or dealing with the seller, and you have to provide them a CMA, and you have to have a structured way where you need it after 30 days, you need to drop the price because it's too high, because you had your brokers open. Brokers opens, I stopped doing those a long time back because they just weren't, it was kind of lame. You have basically brokers that don't do any deals, come by your house and do stuff. I stopped doing those open houses. I even stopped doing those a lot of times because it's like Mike Ferry said, it's a pricing issue. I'm out there trying to sell your property. But it was a little different for me because I was a mortgage broker. So a lot of stuff I had, I sold off. So me and my cousin, when we did deals, we might get 2, 4, 6, 8 sides in one deal. But that's not going to be recorded anywhere. No one's going to know about it. And so we have one deal where I'm going to get, it might be a $500,000 price. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a dual on that deal. Plus, I'm going to get the seller for that and maybe another deal on that. So I might get 8 sides or 6 sides. So the thing is, I had one deal would string out and it'd be a $500,000-$600,000 deal. And commission wise, you pick up 60, 70,000 bucks on one. How to sell a building. How about land? What if you're buying lots for a builder that you know? You know anything about that? New construction. City new construction site sucks. Now there were some where the new construction, they have to pay you an hourly rate. And they do it. If they're not doing it, it's totally legal because there's been a federal and state lawsuits, but the federal lawsuits you have to look at. The thing is, this gets back to a training issue. The training issue is with the broker. Different stuff. Are they talking about all the different avenues? I will get into more detail. I'm going to break it down into more prospecting, and I'm going to go into mail. A lot of money. Some are millionaires now. So, real estate agent. Basically, why I listed all the stuff down here for these different trainers, because it's good for you to go take a look at all these different ways you can do it. Not everything's going to apply on systems, and you can pick and choose the things that are going to apply with your personality, and that's just how it goes. Let me tell you, when I was in one coaching system one time, and I won't say which trainer, my coach who I had for a while basically told my goals were too big. You're not going to be told that. And basically I just kept blowing it up. And I've had my ups and downs. But one thing I was always consistent is with prospecting, always consistent, and mail, always consistent with it all the time. I used to do radio commercials with my cousin all the time. Lots of radio commercials, TV commercials. There's ways you can work that. These are other prospecting. You can do geographically in your area on Vimeo or YouTube or Hulu or Yahoo. Have you looked at that? There's all these other different avenues you can look at. I'm just bringing up a few. See, these prospecting stuff that you can do. There's a company out there to make videos for you for a couple $100. Professional video, 15, 30-second video, $200 to $300. And also too, are you making videos all the time? Are you putting it out to your email address? Are you doing that? Are you buying leads? There's ways, angles you can work it because you're trying to email addresses, but how are you talking to people? These are angles. This is all about training. And this is what really ticks me off about all these designated brokers, these brokers, and go to an independent and basically go to 100 guys and do it for a year, then hop to it. That's great. You're going to be in a 50-50, 60-40 split. It's going to suck. You're busting your butt and they get half your money, but they're not doing anything for you. The broker's not doing anything for you. Screwed on it. And why I'm getting long-winded about it is as more and more I'll be getting down the road different aspects of real estate for just a common person going out doing it, trying to buy houses, real estate. But the real estate agents, mortgage brokers, I'm going to go off on that, and I'll keep doing it because I've already been through all the highlight films and I've done all this stuff, and I know how to market this stuff. And that's why I'm giving it to you in different angles to look at and all these different programs. DeanJackson.com. You should go to that site because Dean Jackson's the best direct response guy in the world with Joe Polish, but also in the real estate industry. He helped Joe Stump with his buyer referral only program. I remember I met him in 95. That was the first time I saw Joe Stump, and he was way ahead of everybody else. There's another cat named Robert Butcher. He's probably 81 now, 80. He lives in Snohomish County or Napa Valley, somewhere in Northern California, in an office. I'm sure he's semi-retired now. But he, back when I saw him in 95, He was way ahead of his time. I didn't realize that until a lot later on, but he was way ahead. The internet was just coming online. That's when you had Alta Vista, Lyco, AOL. That's when Dean Jackson created. As soon as you go to a site, you'll pop up and you'll see to collect an email address. He was the one that created that. And he remember talked about it in the buyer for only when I first went there in 95. It was pretty cool. But the thing is that a lot of these programs are good because they can help new agents or experienced agents better. There's people that door knock. Cool. I used to know a guy that used to work at Remax in the Seattle area, and he was a broker owner, and he did a lot of marketing, but he had certain neighborhoods that he would go twice a year, and he would knock down for 2 days straight and talk to everybody on that block because he lived in the area. So he knew everybody. Any listing that popped up, if I took 10 listings that popped up, he would get at least 6 of those. So it's good to know if you have an area to doing it. And it's good. Door hangers, yeah, do it. Basically, Joe Stump talked about, this is a cool one. I never tried this one, but Marty talked about this years ago. It's pretty interesting. Basically, a house just sold in an area you've been kind of working. And what you do is you throw a party for that person. Even though you didn't sell the house, but you go around to all the neighborhood, get a big cool thing of paper and get everybody to sign off on it. And they go talk to the person and say, hey, you sold your house. I'm an agent area. I know somebody else sold it, but I'd like to throw a housewarming party for you. And the other agent went ahead and threw the housewarming party. It cost them very little money. And the buyer's agent didn't do any stuff like that. So this agent came out of nowhere and did that for him as being a guest because he lived in the neighborhood. And then they ended up collecting a couple buyers and sellers and listed some houses in the area, cost them barely any money. So, I mean, there's things like that you can do to go ahead and make money. Not everybody wants to be on the phone and prospect. Don't. Some people don't want to send out mail. Some people don't like doing social media. There's a whole bunch of stuff, but there's all these ways that you can go ahead and make money. I just dripped some stuff today for you to think about because I think it's important for you to think about some of the stuff and how to better yourself so you can become an agent. Because as an agent, you want your goal is to at least do 10 deals a month, do 120 deals a year minimum. I mean, I went way, way beyond that, but so you got to set yourself some goals. You may only want to do 5 deals a month. That's fine. That's 60 deals a year, but I'd say you want to do 120 deals a year, and that puts you in the top 1% of all the agents in the U.S. And you can do it, but it requires some effort. And it's just a matter of how you schedule your day and what you have going on. You might be single, may be a significant other, might be married, not married, you may have kids, whatever. You may have another job and do real estate too. I'm all for that. If you got another gig, another business on the side, do it. Keep making money and then do the real estate stuff on the side. I'm all for that. A lot of these companies, basically the franchises, only want you to do real estate full time, blah, blah, blah. Well, when I started out, I didn't do that. I worked for a few years working full-time jobs, other part-time jobs. I built my real estate out. So I'm all for that. And the independents give you a lot more leeway than the franchises. Out in the country areas, a little bit different. Franchises will give you more leeway, but in city areas, they won't. I tell you, stay away from the franchises. There are some good ones out there, but I'd say stay away from going to an independent shop and be 100% agent. And at least try to find a broker that you're comfortable with. They may not show you anything. They may not train you, more than likely, but you have to start learning the stuff and how to be able to build it. That's why I put all these different sites down so you can go to their free sections and get all the stuff. There's some stuff you can buy online. Some of the training stuff is excellent, and you go through it. Grant Cardone's got a cool program. Buyer Frohn's a cool program with Joe Stump. Tom Ferry's got a really cool programs. His is more interactive on the coaching side. Then he puts stuff out. His dad, Mike, has a lot of cool programs you can get. And even though Mike Ferry, he's an old school guy because he trained with Earl Nightingale, in the 60s, early 70s. I mean, the guy sold mass real estate. Joe Stump sold a lot of real estate in Chicago. A lot of people know that he's from Chicago. he probably, who knows how many houses that guy sold, probably 1,000 plus over a few years. And he worked for Earl Nightingale for a while too. The Tony Robbins stuff for sales mastery and sales and how to talk to people, go to it. Dean Jackson from Toronto, he helped build Stump's program in certain areas. He's got a lot of cool stuff. Buffini, I'm not a big fan of it. HossPratt.com, yeah, that's a good one to go to too. He's a real prospector. He knows what the hell he's doing. I've talked to him on the phone before in the past. I bought his program just to check it out. I actually tested some of it, and it actually worked. And I picked up some listings on the FSBO side and the Expire side. I just wanted to check it out and see it a long time ago. The Kinder Reach program works, but it's a lot of money up front. They got some kind of, they have some stuff in there. It's like Craig Proctor's system, but it's more money-driven, buying business kind of thing. I know some people in Seattle who were part of it. They ran a lot of news, radio ads, some run TV ads. And that's a good way. A lot of people don't use the internet stuff and they don't know how to use it correctly. I will be building my sites out here soon. I will have the basically nixforecast.com, leastfundsusa.com, proofoffunds.net. Right now, on the bottom is Prime Capital Management, Inc. We have a lot of programs there for funding, and we have a ton of different programs, specialized programs that we have. Like I said, this is all new that I'm starting to do this now, but I just came out of a shell because I wanted to do it because I know I can help a lot of agents make money, or if you get in the real estate business, make money, or I can help you out if you're looking to buy real estate, how to finance it, because I get into stuff that no one will even talk about because most of the people out there don't know what the hell they're doing. And also too, I'll tell you, is sign up for ilovemarketing.com. You need to watch that. DeanJackson.com, morecheesemorewhiskers.com. That's Dean Jackson's site with his interviews. He talks to people in a lot of different industries. He's a real estate guy. You should check it out. Definitely. Dean Jackson, sign up for his, he has a couple weekly newsletters. I read them every time. I get them a couple times a week. Read them. Joe Polish, same thing. Buy Refer Only's got videos and stuff they send out. Mike Ferry, Tom Ferry. I have all those stuff. I get the stuff and I watch them. Especially Tom Ferry's got a lot of good stuff he sends out, and it's a lot of good knowledge because Tom Ferry's got some of the top agents in the United States. And I'm not talking an agent doing 50, 60 deals a year. How about agents doing 500 deals a year? Mortgage brokers doing 500 deals a year. The top guy in the United States is not any of these guys, $1 million listing in New York or basically LA or whatever, or some of these other ones shows they have. The top guy in the US lives in Dallas, and he basically does $2 billion plus a year, and all he does is new construction. That's it. I know a guy in Seattle. He's been the top agent for one of the biggest companies in the entire West Coast region of the United States. That's Pacific Northwest and West Coast. And I won't mention his name, but all he does is new construction. He does resale too, but he has tons of new construction. He has tons of builders. And I'm going to go through that in detail later because there's a whole avenue you can make money on just doing that. I mean, you can work it as an agent. If you get a right builder, you can really work it, especially if you can go further out of a city area. So there's a lot of avenues you can work. But even in city areas like Seattle or Portland, where they're knocking down houses and they're putting up these essentially three-story, I don't know, cookie cutter type of box homes, which are pretty popular. It's almost like an apartment building, essentially, it looks like, but it's not. And urban homes, new urban dwellings. Anyways, but you get 4 or 5 homes on one lot. And that's another way you can kill it. I know some agents in Seattle doing that, and they're killing it. And so they're doing side-by-sides and all kinds of stuff. So there's a lot of ways that you can make money doing it. Me and my cousin, we did it. We bought properties and this and that, got the bank to finance everything, built the house and dropped them off. We built spec houses. We used to buy apartment buildings and turn those into condos and flip them. This gets back to the training of being a real estate agent. You basically need to learn a lot of this stuff because no one's going to teach this stuff to you. This is by trial and error. I had to learn it. And so down the road, I'll have my own coaching club for people that just want to learn how to buy, and agents and mortgage brokers that want to learn how to do stuff. You have to know finance as a real estate agent. This is another just a major problem with the real estate industry. A lot of real estate agents barely know vanilla funding. They don't know anything about the subprime, non-prime, Alt-A. There's all this other stuff out there they don't know how to do. And like Joe Stump in a video I saw a few weeks ago, he's talking about the agents and basically because the market's hot, they're out selling, but they don't know anything about being an agent. And I totally agree with that because they don't know squat. They just don't know anything. And a lot of it just gets back to the training cycle. And I know I'm ragging on the brokers, but it's your fault that your agents are screwed up. And they don't know how to do anything. I talk to agents around where I'm at in different cities here in the Midwest. I talked to them back in Seattle, Portland, whatever, and agents that I know, and they just laugh. But like a lot of agents you go, I talk to them, they don't know anything, and they don't know squat. There's some agents that, they might do 100 deals a year, but they still don't know anything. There's still a few that are exceptional that might know more. They actually understand finance because they own rental properties, and they understand commercial and residential. They might do 100 deals a year, 120 a year, which is okay. And they actually understand some stuff. And they're making some money, and they've been doing it for a while. But those are kind of a few and far between. Bad people skills, which isn't good. And I've noticed that, especially the area I'm in, there's a lot of that going on. So you can go ahead. You can email me. I didn't put my email up at nixforecast@gmail.com. nixforecast@gmail.com. If you got questions for me, go ahead and I can help you out. I'm going to keep putting up videos nonstop as I keep because I know what the hell I'm talking about. And it's kind of a sad commentary because a lot of other businesses are way more professional and got their stuff together. Like an incoming call when a lot of these offices, especially franchise, when they had up calls, basically, you're doing front desk duty. Don't ever do that. Waste your time doing that. You need to be in the field or on the phone prospecting all the time. And this is one thing Mike Ferry I liked about him. Tom Ferry too is about prospecting. You got to be doing it all the time, or you need to have other ways of prospecting stuff out. And basically, whether you're using the internet, video, radio ads, TV ads, internet ads, direct mail, door hangers, whatever. These are stuff you need to learn. Meeting people in a grocery store and giving them your card. You used to be doing that all the time. When I had a mortgage broker, when I was part owner of a company as a mortgage broker, I used to take agents out and we go to a mall in Seattle area, big malls in the West Coast. And basically, I'd take a few agents out that wanted to, and I used to go out and give them out. They take 25 cards, and they have to give out 25 cards within an hour or less and talk to people. Maybe it took 2 hours. They go out and do it. I'd sit there and do it with them. And the thing is, I did what I said I was going to do. If they went out with me, I'd go out and do it with them. And you pick up leads. And sometimes I'd take a whole stack of 50, 60 cards or 100 or whatever and give them all out. And we wouldn't leave till we gave them out. And that's another way to go ahead and get business. And so I practice what I preach because I've done it. It's like my cousin, he racked out the deals. He was so good at people, but he was on Wall Street. So he was on Wall Street. He already had the skill set. So it was an easy transfer and went to real estate and mortgages. He killed it. He knocked it out of the park. But like I said before, training. You have to constantly do it. Training. And so I put a list of all the different sites down, including my own, different finance deals. If you have that kind of question in commercial finance or other business financing, or we have some other specialized business funding stuff. If you need to put together, let's say you want to buy a $50 million building, $100 million building, or say you want to build a $500 million, $300 million building, got some special programs that we can put you in, but this is for a really experienced investor. Since we work with a lot of experienced people, but for people in the beginning of real estate that want to be real estate agents and do it right, know where to go, I helped you out by putting the sites down. Mortgage broker too. So I can help you there for people that are just wanting to learn how the real estate game is played. Do it. Grant Cardone's got this thing every Monday, 12 p.m. Eastern time. I always watch. I don't have time to watch it during the day, but I suggest everybody watch it during the week, because the thing is, he talks about a lot of stuff that nobody will talk about in this industry, and he shoots it to you straight because he owns $4+ billion in real estate. So I totally support it, because I've been watching Grant Cardone for over 20 years as a sales stuff. I bought stuff from his stuff in the past. So he's got good stuff, but I watch his Grant Cardone every Cardone Zone every week. I'm a proponent of it, because he knows what the hell he's talking about, for especially for commercial real estate and buying apartment buildings. Apartment buildings, I know, because I've owned some of them. So it's a good thing. But anyways, I'm going to exit. Questions, you go to nicksforecast@gmail.com, nicksforecast@gmail.com. Yeah, questions about finance or different ways of finance, whether you want to buy a commercial building or you want to build commercial construction, or if you need business funding, lease funding, some of the special funding programs we have, you have big projects, or proof of funds, go to Prime Capital Management, inc.com, at the links below, and we're here to score you away. Anyways, have a good one on this Saturday. Bye.